Very serious situation at the Las Vegas Summer League. Play was stopped in the fourth quarter between the Knicks and the Pelicans. Second earthquake this week out west. Reportedly, this one registering at 7.1 in California, felt in Las Vegas. David Griffin, head of the front office for the New Orleans Pelicans, there he is as he feels the earthquake. You see the speakers in the arena, they are also shaking. You can see the effects in the concourse as well. See the fans as they're walking around. Things are shaking, some lights. Again, play was suspended between the Pelicans and the Knicks. Kawhi Watch 2019 also continues another day. More on the Claw in a few minutes. Welcome to Game Time. Chris Miles here with our front office front man, Wes Wilcox. Wes, the Finals MVP, had to take a back seat in our show because the number one pick in the draft, Zion Williamson, made his debut. And, of course, like we said before, a very serious situation in the Las Vegas Summer League. So let's get right down to business. Zion with a harbinger for this game.
You got to love it in warm-ups. Energy in the building. He delivered.
AD, LeBron, still waiting on Kawhi, Ja Morant, Trae Young like, hey, I'm going to make my debut tomorrow. Got to show these people what I have. Josh Hart also in the building, but none shaking the rim as much as Zion Williamson. This is exactly what we expected.
Yeah, his power, explosiveness, competitiveness here with the steal, rips it away for the big-time dunk. This is what we loved in college, and we got to see it tonight.
First quarter, 10 points. He finished the game with 11 points and 4 for 9 shooting in 9 minutes. All of those points coming on dunks.
Yeah, everything around the rim. One of the things we know is he's going to have to expand his game. 0 for 2 from 3 tonight. It'll be interesting to see if that's something he's able to improve upon.
His Duke teammate, R.J. Barrett. Oh, he got his shots up. 18 of them. 4 for 18 from the field for the third overall pick.
Wing scorer. First Summer League game, you're definitely going to get him up, and he did tonight.
The reason why we gave you that stat line on Zion, he only played 9 minutes, knee-to-knee contact, did not play in the second half, but that meant some more of Action Jackson. Frank Jackson, also out of Duke. This is entering his third season, has struggled a bit with some injuries.
Yeah, getting healthy. Looks like he's in great condition. Combo guard, more of a scorer than playmaker, and he certainly showed that scoring in this one.
16 points in the third quarter, 30 points for the game. But again, we showed you David Griffin earlier, how serious that situation was in Las Vegas in the opening night of Summer League. Ro Parrish was there and has a report from Las Vegas.
Ro Parrish here at the Cox Pavilion at the Summer League. A 7.1 earthquake registered on the Richter scale took place, and it had the whole building shaking. As we were in the building watching the game, the Magic and the Spurs, the speakers above us started shaking. And if you've seen the video from the Thomas and Mack Arena, the Jumbotron and the speakers were doing the same thing. League officials and team personnel all came together and decided it was the best decision to suspend play for both games. At this time, the league hasn't decided whether they're going to continue the games or they're going to reschedule the games. Keep it locked at NBA TV, where we have the latest on the earthquake at the Summer League. I'm Ro Parrish. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Ro. Okay, so we saw the long lines and the crowds there to see Zion Williamson. Very serious situation in the sense that dangerous for all of those people in the arena. Good move by the NBA.
Yeah, tough to postpone it because there's so much energy around this game tonight. So many people wanted to see everybody play. You know, I wonder if Zion maybe not playing kind of took a little bit of the edge off of this because it was so many people were there for him. But certainly the right decision to postpone the game for the safety of everybody involved.
So Zion looked good in that first quarter. 4 dunks. Mitchell Robinson also blocked him 4 times, though, 4 for 9 from the field, so couldn't get it going when he wasn't finishing right at the basket. Was that kind of what you expected from him in his debut?
Yeah, well, as the first pick, you're not doing workouts and you haven't played a game in a long time. And so, you know, replicating a game is impossible. And so conditioning seems to be an area that Zion's going to have to improve upon. And that's not unusual at this time of year. And it's something that he certainly will be able to address moving forward.
Bumps the knee. They have a game Saturday, also one on Monday. Are you a bit concerned with his injury and maybe his style of play, it happening so quickly?
No, the doctors are going to take a look at it. All reports so far is this was knee to knee. If there is any indication that it might be more than that, they will certainly, proceed with caution and likely not play him for the rest of Summer League. But if it's just a bump and he responds more, well tomorrow, there's no swelling, I would imagine we'll see him back out there.
Well, Zion Williamson, of course, has that NFL body. But now we have an NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver, Cris Carter, who's become the omniscient one when it comes to Kawhi watch. Are you kidding me? He predicted accurately that Kawhi would not announce his plans in each of the past 2 days. So, Wes, as a front office member, what are you going through right now if you're waiting on Kawhi? Is formulating a plan B now also a priority?
Yeah, all these teams have their plan Bs. We know plan A is Kawhi. If you're Toronto, though, and Kawhi were to leave, there's not a lot to do because they're not a room team. They're over the cap, so they don't really have very many mechanisms to improve their team. If you're the Lakers, though, or the Clippers, and Kawhi goes back to Toronto, both teams are sitting there with, over $32 million in cap room that they're going to try to spend quickly. So those teams are on the phone with the agents trying to hold off the Dallas Mavericks and their $23 million in room because they want to get the likes of Danny Green and Marcus Morris if Kawhi goes back.
So you're basically saying that timing is everything. And in particular, why do the Lakers, if they are able to sign Kawhi, why do they have to do that first before executing the Anthony Davis trade? What does that ripple effect have around the league?
Yeah, so when the Lakers were able to expand the trade and include the Wizards, that means that they're able to take Anthony Davis in through aggregation, which means combine a bunch of salaries to bring Anthony Davis into the Lakers. And what that does is that gives the Lakers the $32 million slot here for Kawhi. So the timing were to work, Kawhi would sign first, then they'll trade for Anthony Davis. And all of those teams involved in that trade, Washington, the Atlanta Hawks, and all those players that have been traded, they're not allowed to participate in anything until those trades are done. So there's a lot of teams waiting on a Kawhi decision.
So, yeah, like Jackson Hayes for the Pelicans not playing.
That's right.
Then for the Hawks, I guess DeAndre Hunter also not playing yet.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the Raptors, they've maxed their cap space. The Clippers have a ton of cap space. So for the Lakers, if they sign Kawhi, they are an interesting situation in which they look like they're almost maxed out at a cap. So if they only have 6 or 7 players on the roster, how do they fill the rest of those roster spots realistically if they're able to land Kawhi?
Well, this is the challenge of building a super team. When you have the majority of your money wrapped up in LeBron, Anthony Davis, and then Kawhi, certainly we would all do it. But the question becomes, how do you fill out the rest of your roster? And we can see here, they have a starting point guard and a shooting guard that they need starting positions for. And then, 3 clear backups there with Dudley and Troy Daniels, who they have agreed to minimum contracts for. So the 6th player would be Kawhi at the max. And then you basically have a room team exception, which is a 2-year contract starting at $4.7 million. And then the rest of the roster will be minimum contracts.
So there's some interesting names. I mean, Avery Bradley just brought out, waived by the Grizzlies. Kyle Korver, another guy. These are people that seem to fit in LA. Are these realistic targets for them?
Yeah, I mean, if you land Kawhi, you're going to have that one $4.7 million slot. So I don't know, Rondo maybe, you need a point guard. Maybe Caldwell Pope, you need a shooting guard. But then you get to those minimum names like a Kyle Korver if he gets bought out, or even on that front line, you're going to need some front line help. And you start to wonder if this isn't DeMarcus Cousins or bringing back JaVale McGee, who was good for the Lakers.
Certainly going to be an interesting week to see what happens with Kawhi and then the dominoes that fall after. Hey, we got to see the first pick and the 3rd pick from the draft. What about the 7th pick? Kobe White making his debut for the Chicago Bulls. That's up next on Game Time.